Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Real Israel Podcast with me, your host, Chaim Mailspin. Join us as we dive into Israel's past, present, and future as we explore the rich history, current events, and visionary perspectives shaping this dynamic region. Welcome to another episode of the Real Israel Podcast with me, your host, Chaim Mailspin. I'm here with Sergey. How do you pronounce your last name?
Hello, everyone. Shykevich.
Shykevich. And you made Aliyah to Israel, that great fulfillment of the promise that God will gather the Jewish people to the promised land. When you were what age?
Yeah, I made Aliyah at the age of 9 from Ukraine.
Amazing. And look at that. Coming from an immigrant from Ukraine. I'm so sorry to say that it's a war zone still at the time of this filming. But to go from that to be now group manager for cybersecurity, and what you do is you're not developing new technologies. Essentially, you are focused yourself and your team on, identifying incoming threats.
Correct, yeah. The main goal of my group is to understand the bad guys.
Okay.
What they do, how they attack, how nation-state actor countries like Iran and other North Korea and other enemies or rivals also attack, and how cyber criminals steal our money.
Right.
And protect the community and also checkpoint customers from those bad guys.
And so you didn't just start from nothing. You actually had a career in the army. You were in 8,200, Shwonim it's called in Hebrew. And that's, what is that, an information unit? Or is that like a army security unit?
Yeah, it's army intelligence. Cyber unit, yes.
And I know that there is various, it's a whole world that people might not be so familiar with, maybe some of them are, which you have state actors and you have the individual. You have to have your own individual computer protected. It must be protected, but you also have national infrastructure. I want to ask you, what could happen if the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, who fund terror globally, what if they were able to hack Israel's mainframe? They could probably do a lot of damage to this country.
So yeah, the main goal of nation-state actor like IRGC in Iran is really to hack a government network, big corporations. For example, in Israel, yes, definitely Israel is a huge target of Iranian intelligence organization, but not only Israel. That's important to mention. We see them targeting all the Middle East, UAE, for example, Egypt, like countries like this.
You can see it.
We see in our intelligence sensors, yes. We see them even targeting North America, for example, in the US, in some countries in Europe, targeting a lot of different types of target, different than in Israel, yes. Their goals in the US, for example, or Europe or UAE are different than in Israel. But their goal is to infiltrate big organizations.
I know that 5 years ago, when I started to really hear of Checkpoint, and I understand Checkpoint is the name of this company that you're part of here. Checkpoint is more for nations or large companies, not necessarily as much for individuals, but it could be also individual. It's everything.
Correct.
In cybersecurity.
Correct. Our main goal is to protect enterprises, companies, governments, big organizations. Yes, we do have some products for individuals, but our main goal is to protect big companies like banks, governments, insurance companies, healthcare, that there are a lot of attacks against hospitals, healthcare worldwide, and more.
Oh, wow. You just think everything's computerized. The very traffic lights, your car starts by a computer
Even MRI at the hospital.
In the hospital.
Yeah.
So if someone hacked that, you essentially have a shutdown of the electric power grid even. Isn't that even government? It's people have smart houses. Everything is governed. Your cell phone. I heard that Iran wanted to do an EMP bomb. That's what I heard, which explodes in its essentially electromagnetic pulse. It shuts down all electrical signals, and it'll fry your phone. It'll fry your computers. Could that have been one of the most dangerous threats during the 12-day war that they ended up not doing it?
So it's definitely a possible threat, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think we saw them doing some different stuff in 12 days. Mostly, I would say it's very interesting. Their big focus is on disinformation. I think one of the important things of modern cyber wars, and we're now in cyber wars. Yes, Israel is in physical war, but also in cyber war is disinformation. Because the goals now of nations is to destabilize institutions in their enemy countries. And they understood that in many cases, instead of really using missiles, rockets, yes, they also use Iranians, missiles and rockets, but also to make people in the country, in Israel, to believe that their government can protect them, for example. It has the same effect like a missile that fired to the center of Tel Aviv.
Right. It's true. You know, I know this 5 years ago, this cybersecurity company called Checkpoint, and it's an Israeli-made company. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, we are fully Israeli.
When was it established? Do you know?
More than 30 years ago, by Gil Schwed, that is now the chairman of the board. Up to 1 year ago, he was also our CEO, and now he became the chairman of the board. And he established, and our all R&D, the research and development, is in Israel.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we are a global company. We have customers in almost every country you can just imagine already, but the core of the company is Israel. We are now sitting in the headquarters in Tel Aviv.
I know that 5 years ago, I was looking at this company. It had $16 billion, I believe, $16 billion market cap for the company value. I'm sure it's a lot more now. It's probably hundreds and hundreds of billions.
Yes, we went really upwards to it. Yes, yes. We 20 plus, and we are going more and more and more. Yes.
And I know that you have real threats that you didn't have before. I know that now we talked about the Iranian hackers that you see, but there's probably other hackers around, Russian hackers. You're from Ukraine originally. There's Russian hacking groups that do different things. I understood that 5 years ago, the value of a week's work of work for a hacking group. There's all kinds of hacking groups with all these weird names. And so that's $1 million a week for them to work. Probably they're getting a lot more now too, 5 years later.
So I will give you an example talking about Eastern European hackers, Russian hackers. Maybe the best example is those are cyber criminals.
Yes.
One of the main threats of cyber criminals is what is called ransomware. The goal, it's a malicious software that the goal is to fully encrypt a network of an organization. That all the computers will be not available at all. Think about it, bank, now you encrypt all the network of the bank and all the machines, ATMs, everything are not available. Right. So those are organized crime group. And we did research about several groups, and those groups, first of all, they have physical offices. Some of them, in Moscow, for example, in St. Petersburg, in other countries. Those groups consist of hundreds of people, and what is even more important, their revenue. Okay?
Yeah.
The annual revenue of some of those groups is counted in $500 million.
Wow.
Some count, yes, yes. And they have also structures that are similar to technology company. We see there is the big boss CEO, there is HR department, there is kind of a QA department, IT department,
like
all this.
Exactly like a company.
Yes, it's technological company, really, it's technical. Those are developers, those are hackers, and they work. And those are one of the biggest threats now to every company, and not only company, by the way, individuals also.
You know, I think that people in the West, a lot of people in the West are watching this, and I think, and please make sure you share this video, we need to get the truth out, because a lot of people in the West just don't know really what Israel is. There's so many lies and disinformation about Israel. Even when you just think of France, you think, well, baguettes, I don't know, maybe some good wine, maybe some chocolate. You think Italy, you think, all right, well, there's the Vatican and whatnot. We then say Israel, oh, war, bombs. What about high tech? Israel's a huge protector of the West. I mean, protector of the West in cybersecurity. Their systems would be down, there would be chaos. I mean, they don't realize we're like a wall in many, many, many ways from total anarchy.
So yeah, Checkpoint and many other companies will protect a lot of big enterprises in Europe, United States, Canada. When I'm talking enterprises, those can be airlines. Yes, if now you paralyze airlines, there will be chaos. We see it. Banks, healthcare companies, and hospitals, governments. All the e-governments, now almost every Western country has e-government that you can do whatever you want. So yes, there are dozens of Israeli companies. There is a lot of exits of Israeli companies that are being sold to other companies, and it's really a flourishing ecosystem. I can say, for example, Checkpoint X people established already in Israel more than 50 other companies.
Wow.
Yes, Checkpoint is also known that people here grow and learn about the industry, about how this everything works, and then many of them establish new companies and very successful companies.
Amazing. So like the first invention was 30 years ago or something. It was called Firewall 1, right?
Yes.
Firewall 1. And VPN is like something that developed after, which is a virtual network.
Yes.
Virtual private network.
Yes.
And so you have this that developed from this firewall. So what does a firewall really do? What did that do essentially?
So the main and the basic goal of a firewall is to protect your network, to filter all incoming traffic from the internet and limit whatever shouldn't come to your network.
Okay.
The traffic that's coming from the bad guys, the attempts to steal your information, to exploit your servers and such stuff. That's kind of the basic goal of the firewall. There are much more, but yes, that's I would say it's the first line of protection.
Right.
Important to mention there are many other lines now, because yes, firewall is the first one. It's important still, but we see we need to protect your laptop and machine now, your phone, your remote work, because you mentioned VPN. VPN maybe is one of the best ways to connect remotely to sensitive corporate resources.
Right.
But in many cases, remotely you connect from your personal device.
Yes.
Your personal laptop or a mobile phone that are not protected. So it's a new challenge, especially in post-COVID era.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to, before we get into what is AI doing and what does it mean your digital identity doesn't exist anymore, or your digital identity could be stolen and misused, misrepresented, all that disinformation, and there's a lot of it. Just before we get into that, again, just to go back a little bit to your career. So you started again, you made Aliyah with your family, and then you went to this 8,200 unit, or 8,200, which is intelligence. I know Iran, I believed, bombed that with a ballistic missile. Anyway, point is, what caused you to want to get into what happened to you, if you're allowed to share, that made you want to become one of the defenders of the whole West from all these threats today?
So I think it's just a very interesting and fulfilling work in cybersecurity. It's also, I would say, unfortunately for us as defender, it's never boring. It's never boring because all this part to be a defender in cyber, it's kind of a cat and mouse game. Like you think about the policeman in real world, non-cyber world. You know, those who do murder, steal stuff, changing their tactics every day. So cyber attackers also do it.
Right.
But here you don't deal only with, the thief from your city or something.
Right.
You deal with nation-state actors, big nations, big sophisticated cyber criminals and such stuff. So it's never boring, and also it's very fulfilling because you do the right thing.
Yeah.
You always do, you protect the corporations that you are using, your country is using, and your friends and everyone.
Right. Yeah, so you have your global services, you have Harmony, you have CloudGuard, Quantum, a whole bunch of different firewall type things, right? They're kind of
different products,
different products.
Different lines of products to protect different pillars of day-to-day of corporation. Yeah.
Okay, so how can we stop this AI identity, or let me just ask differently, what is going on with identity theft, digital identity theft, and AI?
So I would say almost already around 3 years ago, all the reality has changed with the launch of ChatGPT. I think most of you use ChatGPT on day-to-day, even not for work, not for some sophisticated stuff, but to check your day-to-day. And it also, not only the normal people are using it, but also the bad guys. Because the other side adopts it, even in some cases, faster than we are. Or the bad guys on day-to-day. And their goal, one of the big things we see in AI is all the part of impersonation. It can be textual impersonation, it can be voice impersonation, and maybe the most kind of tricky one is the video impersonation.
Yeah.
And recently, this year, even in the dark web, I put aside even what big nation-state actors are doing, because they are doing much more sophisticated. But in the dark web, you can buy fully autonomous voice impersonation system, for example. And your goal is, for example, you write just a basic scenario. Your goal is to steal the payment card information from this person and present your self-utility company. And the AI is doing the call. In doing all the
whole thing.
Yes, all
the
conversation, all the tweaks. This bot knows what is the goal. Your goal in basic scenario, you don't need already to write the full script. For example, say this and say this. So in audio, it's already, we call it autonomous. Fully autonomous AI. And there are a lot of, I think, talking about scams and about general audience, a lot of scams, AI-powered scams on phones. That someone is called and impersonates the voice of your son, for example. Think about it. Or your nanny or something like this and tells, I got in an accident now, I'm in hospital, I need immediately, mom, that you transfer me $50,000. With the voice of your son.
Wow.
Yes, that's the important thing. And many people transfer. So those are the very kind of sophisticated AI scams now that are common in Israel. They are common in North America and US, by the way, a lot. FBI issued several alerts about it.
So what can be done when even a video and a voice is all saying, hey, do you have software that then identifies this is an AI video, this is fake, and is that what you do?
So that's a good question, because currently it's very difficult to spot that specific video or audio is AI powered or not. It's extremely, extremely difficult. There is no easy way. I think the best way to differentiate is to understand the source of the video or the audio. If someone calls you, to see who called you. If you see it in social media, to see who is the account who distributes it.
Right.
Because now, just technically to see it, there are some kind of, let's call it, signatures in the background of some of those files, all this, but it's not 100% at all that you can differentiate. So I think important thing is awareness of people.
It is.
Not everything you see or hear now, which is digital, is the truth. I think that's an extremely important point.
Well, truth is something that I see with Israel. One of the reasons why we're doing this, again, why you need to be sharing this video, is that truth is just being lost. People don't even care. It's all, you know what it is now? It's narratives. It's not what the fact, no one cares about the facts, about what's going on in Gaza, about how much food goes in, about that the Hamas is stealing. No one cares about the facts. They want narratives. They want oppressor and oppressed. They want to relate to that, they themselves being part of the saviors of the oppressed. And they just put that in various scenarios, and there's oppressor, oppressed that they don't care about. In Sudan, in Syria, they don't care. But there's this oppressor-oppressed narrative, which has nothing to do with facts, you know what I mean? So is there a way then to, what would you say would your plan be as a company to deal with this?
So I think we are trying, first of all, to understand what happens. What are the tools? I think that's the most important thing. Awareness and
identifying the threat.
Yes, and put it in the awareness of the general public. I think that's the most important, because I think those who should be aware about it, not only our Checkpoint customers, the big corporations, banks, but my grandma. Okay, and you as an audience, you should be aware and understand what is there and what makes sense to believe and what doesn't make. There are more and more solutions now that do allow you to differentiate, this deepfake, this is not deepfake, but it's still very difficult. It's very difficult. And I think deepfakes, we see a lot what is called hacktivist group. Okay?
Yeah.
And they are using a lot of deepfakes, to push specific narrative in social media. So and the current kind of reality of social media and also AI makes it very easy, generally mislead to any side and any narrative. It's just so easy, so quick, and even I would say it's very cheap.
Right.
I will give you an example. So now the price creating a good deepfake on the dark web, video deepfake, $50.
Really?
Yes, and for the audio deepfake, you don't need already hours of audio of the person. You need 2 minutes, 1 minute of a recording of the person, and you create perfect deepfake of the audio. And what is very interesting, there are now some researchers that human being is not able to differentiate the voice created by AI versus the real human voice. There are already academical research that show it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask. If not, that's okay. As far as it has to do with the Ukraine-Russian war and Iran and the other hackers that are attacking Israel, have you been or this company been at all contracted by any people? Are you able to be contracted by people in order to help these countries and help Israel by the government? Governments.
So generally, we have presence in about 170 countries. We have customers worldwide. So in almost every country that we as a company are allowed to work with. Of course, we have a solid presence in Israel because we are headquartered in Israel. We are an Israeli company, but we protect a lot of enterprises in Asia, in North America, Latin America, Africa, a lot of different places.
I understand. Yes, you're multinational, right? You're not there's hacker groups, but you're a global company.
And our goal, my goal in my group is to understand the threat in every place. Now, who attacks Ukraine? Who attacks Angola in Africa? Who attacks United States, of course, or Canada? Who attacks Israel? And who attacks Singapore? Because we have customers in all those countries, and we need to protect them and understand it.
So since your threat assessment, and I just want to know, how bad could it be? What is the assessment of the threat? Like, could our banks be just hacked? I mean, I know that because again, I don't know this tchum. I don't know this area of. I'm not an expert in this area. A lot of people watching aren't, but I know that there's a thought in my mind that if quantum-powered computers, a quantum computer could exist where it could do 20 years of hacking in a second. That fast, it did 20 years worth of hacking to get one number of the code to my bank, for example. Not that there's much money in there, but let's just say they wanted to hack my bank. You know, could they do that in just like that, hack any bank, and all the banks in the world like that?
So we are still not there, but that's likely the future, yes. That's likely the future. What is already the present is using AI to hack. Because AI is already utilized by attackers. It's part of their infection chain. It's part of impersonation. Because think about it, how most of the cyber attacks start with impersonating email you receive and ask you to open a file, to click a link, to click WhatsApp link, for example, or something like this. So all those now created using AI already, and you can do it at much large scale. And also there are no language barriers anymore. Because you can be a hacker from Russia, and you can write perfect phishing emails in Hebrew, in Arabic, in Spanish, whatever language.
Very professional looking.
Yes, it looks like from the bank, from the government, whatever.
You can't see mistakes.
Yes, and AI already accelerating the attacks, and we at Checkpoint already see it. Quantum is the future. There are already some hints of use, but it's. I think in a few years there will be another answer.
So let me ask you this: have you had any? Is there anything you're allowed to say concerning big victories? You know, you have a battle. I've been serving. I'm a sergeant major serving in the Army. I can look back to, hey, there was this mission, there was that mission, and wow, we all came together and we saw a victory. Are there moments where you're like, wow, thank God we stopped them before this happened, you know, or something like that?
So I will give you an example. Just a few weeks ago, there was a big vulnerability in SharePoint. Many organizations use SharePoint to share data. Universities, governments, to upload files that everyone can access them. And there was a big vulnerability in those, and we were able to protect a lot of our customers worldwide, not specifically in Israel, in any country from this, because we had good protection, and also we were able the first to find the hints of this campaign. For example. So there are many stuff. Also, in Israel, we see a lot of Iranian disinformation.
Yeah, I heard there's even this not just say give a password, give a WhatsApp number, give a cousin, give your friend's address. There's even luring people to go to some place where they could be killed. I mean, we're still in a war right now. And have you heard of this, where people are trying to be lured to a place, to a business meeting or something?
Yes, so there were, I can give you two examples. One of them from the last weeks. That we did a research of lures that were sent to different cyber executives in Israeli universities. And the lure asked, we want to meet you, and either on Zoom or in Tel Aviv. It was strange, it was Iranian. Lure. We don't know what was the goal of meeting them in Tel Aviv physically. Yes, cyber executives, heads of cyber labs in universities, heads of cyber such stuff. That's one example. Another example, it's a bit older, that some Israeli former executives tried to be lured by Iranians to go out to conferences. We did this research about trying to lure them to go to conferences in Europe, in the United States. We don't know what's the end goal of this, but we can imagine. We can imagine. So yes, we see there is in some cases mix, especially when we are talking about nation-state actors who are involved in terrorism, like Iran, mix between cyber to physical world. We see it. We definitely.
So you'd say the biggest ones are probably Iran and Russia. Russian hackers.
I think Iran is a terrorist. It's Iran, North Korea. It's important to mention. Yes, I will give you another example of physical world and another world. So during the war, we saw Iranian increase very, very significantly hacking of cameras in Israel. Of cameras in public places. Why? It was an increase of about 2,000% to pre-war. Specifically, why? Because they wanted to do BDA, post-fire analysis of their rockets. They wanted to have a control in cyber on Israeli public space to see whether their rockets get the goals. Achieve the goals and where they hit to improve the accuracy of the rockets. So that's how, for example, during the war, Iranians used cyber to hack cameras and to see whether their physical rockets achieve the goals and to improve.
And I know the same thing for China. There was this vulnerability of Chinese security cameras. There's a whole thing that came out about them getting hacked in China. And that's amazing. So would you say that the future steps that you want to take and to lead is what would you say your next few steps are going forward?
Wow. I think it's really continuing, first of all, to understand who are the bad guys. We should be always ahead of them. I think that's the big, big challenge, to be ahead of those guys, to get into their minds, you know, because we need to think like hackers. You know, like just good hackers. We are the good ones.
The good guys.
And to understand whom they will attack. Because in many cases we try to understand, and our goal is also to provide the information. Because yes, Checkpoint is a private company, in a kind of publicly traded but private company, and we protect, first of all, our customers. But our goal is also to make the whole community to understand the threat, to push the information we collected. So again, the regular people like you and my family, your family, understand and don't even lose their money. Because, you know, for a company, losing money, it's mostly millions a big damage. But for an individual, even if they will use $2,000, it can be a huge damage.
Right. I know 90 million cryptocurrency assets of Iran were seized or lost or something.
Hacked, during the war, yes.
So there's this crypto is a whole world. I don't want to get into it right now.
I think, yes. I think it's definitely possible to be successful here, even as an immigrant. Even when I did Aliyah, I didn't know Hebrew, a single word.
Really?
In Hebrew. Yes, I didn't study it then, like some immigrants and some of those who do Aliyah, nothing. But yes, it's possible to be successful even as an immigrant. I can also tell that when I went to IDF, I didn't know anything about IDF, about 8200s, nothing. It just was part of the process. I was suggested this. By the way, I also was suggested to do Atuda in chemistry.
Okay.
And I just last second decided, no, I think that's my contribution will be better on this. It's more challenging, interesting.
Right.
I didn't know anything about this, about the intelligence world, cybersecurity, nothing. I even in the high school didn't study computer science. That's interesting. My degree is in chemistry and Far East studies at all in university, in Tel Aviv University.
Right.
Yes. So I even didn't study computer science, not in school, not in college, nothing.
Nothing.
So there are different paths to get to some success.
How is Israeli intelligence and tech companies working to counter the AI-generated disinformation that's coming out of Gaza, these fake media campaigns which are tricking so many in the West?
So I think generally it's connected to AI point, and because now even you do some photo in any context, you can edit it with AI very easily.
Right.
And talking about Gaza, I will maybe talk about Hamas something, because we see, and it will surprise maybe in this context, Hamas still has some cyber capabilities.
Right, and their video editing is actually growing, and I see how they catch, for example, an RPG that's shot. It's caught in the air sometimes. That's some real skill to edit down a video that's going really fast, as an RPG, just the moment of the initial explosion, edit this all, put it out really, really fast. And
it's just easy in the current world. It's just very easy. And we see Hamas also doing more sophisticated cyber activity. Because now we talk about disinformation, deepfake, all this, but also sophisticated cyber activity attacking entities in Israel.
Interesting.
Still, yes, Hamas still. And what is even more interesting, they attack not only in Israel, the Palestinian Authority attack a lot in cyber.
Oh, really?
Jordan, Egypt, a lot of countries, yes. And by the way, our assumption, it's not Hamas in Gaza, it's Hamas Houthis, what is called.
Okay.
The foreign, yes, in other countries. There are more technical people reside now outside of Gaza and do cyber activity, because again, it surprised us at some point, because we assume that after October 7th, you know, there is no infrastructure in Gaza, too much technical, like servers and all this. It's more difficult to maintain so sophisticated activity.
Right.
But we continued seeing it. And then we get to conclusions that it's from other countries. There are activists and hackers operate from there.
There's in southern Lebanon, there's in Syria that are Hamas, and they do attacks. They even shoot missiles from other countries onto Israel. So what kind of people can get a job here? What types?
So I think it's everything. We are kind of, I think in Israel, a representation of the Israel community and what all types of population here. We have here kind of people like me, immigrants. We have deeply religious people. Even in my group, there are several people who are kind of religious. Even someone who is a rabbi. And he's a researcher in my group.
And we have also with the black hat.
He's not with black hat, but he's, We have also a lot of Israeli Arabs all the types, whatever we have in Israel, we have here in the company, and by the way, in the world also, because we have employees all over the world. And so it's a combination. And our goal is not to differentiate or something, whether you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian. Our goal is to provide the best services to our customers and whoever they are in the end of the day. And we try to be the best in our area without going deep into politics and such stuff. And we try to also to honor everyone with his thoughts, beliefs, and religion. I think that's an important thing for us.
And that is a picture of Israel, a unity in diversity. So I do recognize that the success of this country in many ways is in your hands. So I just really thank you for your time. Any other thoughts that you want to share about anything concerning the thing? So I really want to say thank you for your time. And it's an honor. I know you're very busy. And I'm really glad that this team is just growing and growing. And I really hope that it'll achieve that everybody will use this software, every company and every bank. And the last thought that just came to me is some people said maybe the only way is to have some sort of a physical thing with you, like a decoder, so no one can possibly fake your eye. But then there's a whole other realm of thought that said no AI can fake your eye.
As for now.
Or your thumbprint.
As for now. That's maybe the focus. Now we are correct.
Right.
But maybe it also will change in 2 years, 3 years, because the technology is developing so quickly. Yes.
Wow. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for
God
having
bless
me.
you, and thank you for being Israeli and protecting all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into yet another episode of the Real Israel podcast with me, Chaim Mailspin, where truth shines, dispelling the darkness. And if you found value in today's episode, please like it, comment, we want to hear from you, and subscribe. Click that notification bell and share it. Join the conversation and be a truth speaker for Israel.